Before we get started, there are two ways to watch this video. The first is to simply let it play, and then you'll get the benefit of our extremely insightful commentary and banter between the bosses. The other way, if you don't care about that, or you're only interested in one boss in particular, for example, is to use this title screen and the links provided to simply skip to that part of the video. Whichever method you choose, I hope this is vaguely useful, or informative, or any of those other words. Either way, enjoy. And welcome back, here's Darkness War. There's an introduction for you. And yeah, for anybody watching these videos who hasn't cottoned on yet, we're kind of doing these all in a session within about 5 minutes of each other, so not a whole lot is changing. This one features Native Americans, Vikings, and Mayans. So a lot of badassery all shoved into one place. And yes, fellas, I have bought the 100% sprint. These slackers haven't. And that's why they're dressed like my
I
henchmen.
haven't unlocked it yet. Hey, I think we should run these in Templar gear, personally.
Well, I totally
You
am.
should wait for me.
This is a Templar-only deck uniform, and it has a distinct Templar theme. I just look like the leader. Now, as you can see here, we're straight into the first boss, and the targeting circles are a little bit different. If you happen to have somebody who's blood spec with you putting AoE on the ground, try to resist the urge to roll out of it, because he was laughing quite hard at us when we were doing that. So, first things first, run around, provoke them, and then people just appear out of the hedges.
You hate it when that happens.
I know. You're enjoying a nice
Gorillas.
walk through a pleasant environment, and somebody just jumps out of a hedge and starts hitting on you. So, this is his AoE. You just roll out of that and get on with your life. I have the feeling that he was supposed to spawn ads. There we go. I just didn't know if he'd live long enough to do so. So more or less swing around, pick him up. Get loot, win. It's a bit of an ambush. These gentlemen have green faces.
Second boss incoming. Pretty straightforward fight.
Now, essentially, you want to be killing the ones that are powering up the altar. I don't know why, but just kill them. What we're going to do is, I'm going to sprint around and kill everything. And then the boss will come when you pull through. And for an idea of how much of a bad idea this is, yeah. Unfortunately, we just lost our healer, so here's our first fail of the day. Well, my first fail of the day. The real question is, do we want to scrap this?
I survived!
Okay, don't worry guys, I can pull our asses out of the fire here. So there is a valuable lesson, our demonstration of what happens when you fail to take an encounter seriously because you believe that it is beneath you. Did that sound good?
Sounds pretty
Pretty
good.
much.
Yeah, but what else he just said in group. It's always better option to take them in small segments. You usually get them in about 2 or 3 pulls if you really want to be careful. You can probably manage about 4 to 5 at a time with an average Q5, Q4 level group.
Yeah, right on the money. Okay. I'm sorry, that's just so funny. Let's do this seriously then. So,
Try not to wipe.
focus the one who is using the beam. It should now come over here, I think. It won't probably because we pulled it. Nope, it did. As you can see, there's a very nice structure to the pulling here. The next one will be slightly large, but it's fully manageable.
A really nice option with these pulls is to, once off the bat, like people with shotguns, elemental, get as many hinders up as possible. It helps a hell of a lot. Contain them very nicely.
Anybody who is watching my screen will note I'm saving that ability for the boss itself. I was hoping for more ads to be alive, but yeah. Now, he'll put down this black goop. You don't want to stand in that. And what I've tended to prefer to do with this is to rotate in a kind of clock face. Stand just on the edge of one puddle, and then rotate around. And generally speaking, it will dissipate before you need to. Interesting. Now I have no idea why he chose to move there.
Well, this is pulled aggro.
Right, and I was
Why not dodge that AoE?
more attention to that than dodging the AoE. Well, there's a new puddle anyway. The additional AoE. I think honestly, so long as you stay out of the AoE, most groups, the fight is really all emphasized on the pulls leading up to the boss. Because those are the part that will kind of tax you a little bit before you get going. Now, this is another contender for my favorite boss in the game, to be honest. It's got a lot of elements that are really fun. So, here he is. He's got a great hat, and I'm wholly jealous. So this guy has several types of AoE and something else you'll need to look out for, which I'll point out when we get there. Here's initial AoE. This is centralized, you want to get out of it. There's a target on the ground, and he'll also spawn ads, which I should have gone for straight away. Focus the ads here. When they go down, the AoE stops and get back in. This is an Eye of the Storm style, so get inside. And during this AoE, he will put down these lines on the ground. Those are lines of effect. You don't want to be stood on them. Divides into 2, then divides into 4, until later in the fight. Probably, for about a QL5 group, you should expect to see maybe 2 phases of that variety. We'll only see 1, I expect. In the final one, they will actually start to rotate, and they'll rotate clockwise. Indeed. So you want to be to the left of the section. It's only the first one that rotates. The following 2 are both stationary, so if you're in a panic about that 4-way, don't be. So the whole core of this fight is pretty much keep the ads off your healer and then just pay attention to what the floor is doing.
The blessing of our ancestors.
And that's that.
bears with the power of all our rites and rituals, along with those of the Vikings, with every man and every woman standing tall with a weapon in their hands. We were ready.
Right. Let's just wait for the slowpokes. You guys have gone quiet now.
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking you might as well tell people. Initially in this boss, what happened is small mobs will come out, and what you want to do is you want to try and contain them in the smallest space possible. Try and kill them all in the same spot, because they will put a bile type substance on the ground that will in turn do damage to you and also damage over time. And generally you want to make it a small space so you've got as much space to work with when you actually get to the boss.
So it's advisable if you can to dump them by this entrance, or at least in a corner somewhere. So we're gonna have a go at that. If if the group wants to let me get aggro by pistols instead of actually hitting them. So that's a reasonable placement. Let's try and get this one not there. Okay, well, that'll show you the positioning. The boss will...
The boss is burrowing.
burrow. He'll come out just in front of me here. Or he should. There we go. And the burrow will knock you back, so you don't want to be stood on top of it. As you just saw, he performs a charge. That can be interrupted with impaired state, I believe. At a given point, we're expecting him to go underground again and spawn more ad phase. I'm going to angle him away from the group, actually. When he charges. Here we go. I'm going to have to heal it because I was focusing on that. I think that's more or less the entirety of that one. It's all about the ad positioning, because everyone that dies obviously places down a persistent damage field.
Time was short.
Hey Hypo, that's how you sum it up in 3 words.
By club, by spear, by sword, and by magic.
This guy is one of my most hated bosses in the game, because he's a jerk. Where do we begin with this? Nope, we're just gonna rush in and talk about it as we go. Let's roll. So, first things first, periodic AoE. And he likes to teleport. Now, when he teleports to the ends, he keeps tossing the bombs down until such time as you get in and smack him in the face. He does another kind of teleport, which is up to the top, and we'll see that in a minute. And we also have ad spawning. Now, teleport to the top, it may feel random, but it's actually one end, then that end, and then the center. So you can just stand in the middle, wait for this side to go, and then stand here, and you clear it the whole way. We're expecting ads immediately after, and he'll reappear here. And this is why I hate him. He just doesn't stop porting up there.
Hey, look, ads.
There are the ads. Yeah, apparently we're killing him a little quickly, so those are coming a little off time. Well, at least it's the end one. But he's about to teleport up, I pretty much guarantee it.
Just to give a good idea how much damage those little bombs do, I just lost like 1.5 health.
So yeah, the ads always come from that side up there, through that gate. So tank, be aware of that. Whoops, missed a wave of ads. And these bomb patches are safe to run through the moment they have detonated, just in case you get caught in a bad spot. But to be honest, once you understand how they work, you never should. I'm going to do what I should have been doing and keep my camera focused towards the gate, which is no longer relevant. There's a quick last minute tip for that one.
You cannot continue alone. The forest is flooded with blackness. Blackness wept from the wound in the mountain. I have spoken to the earth.
I think we'll mention the
I
puppies,
asked it
but
to
I'm
guide you across
disinclined
the
to go back
danger.
and fight them.
Walk into its golden light
Essentially,
now.
once you skip this cutscene, because I'm going to let you watch it, if you turn around and run back through the woods, there are puppies in there who will drop loot, and if you're on a item farm, you may want to just go in there and, you know, kill some puppies. Make a coat. Maybe also note that you can bug in that cutscene, and /reload UI fixes it. Black screen. Indeed. I've never had it happen to me, so I wouldn't have known that one. This boss... Our first 2 kills of this boss we did with bugs. They were hilarious. Okay, so as I previously mentioned, this boss can be, it can misbehave a little bit and bug out on you. We're having some issues. Hopefully it goes better this time. So we're gonna have to run over the tactics again. So hopefully everybody's ready, and let's dive in. One thing I noted is, if you watch the damage I'm taking here, a tank of the level to be doing this will take a lot of punishment. I'm running almost 9k health, so QL67, you'd probably be dead by now. You want to pull these in manageable chunks. When all of the ads are dead, the boss will appear shortly thereafter, over here. And he will spray out a conal AoE, persistent damage effect, which you want to try and turn away from the center, which unfortunately didn't go according to plan.
Or did?
Well, it looks like he's still working as intended. I'm perfectly okay with this one because it just did us a favor. What you want to do with the filth patches is, once again, kind of lay them down in a clog face, stand on the edge of the previous section, and just keep moving around. These ones... Whoops, I was slightly in the area, but it wasn't showing the effect.
And of course he just decided to play a joke on me with choosing the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's really not behaving himself. Here comes some ads, and the boss disappears. So, number 1, get them off the healer. Number 2, kill them. As much as you ever can kill these guys.
Funnily enough, when the ads do spawn again, it's actually a nice idea to run them as far away into the corners as possible. Then if you can see where I'm running, but you'll see why later.
Yeah, let's cover that at the time, rather than playing too much on at once. You know, such as, in the next instance. When this guy spawns, he will forcibly turn your camera to look at him, because he is an attention whore. So, put the ads down.
Its pure light terrified our forefathers.
Listen to a little bit of chat. Enjoy the blinding glow that is now spiraling around your character. Can I make the reference about how the cereal and amoeba planet space now has a caramel swirl?
This round.
Yep.
The reason I said to move away the the mobs if you can, is because they turn into suicide bombers in this phase.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they will kill you in about one shot.
Essentially, the ads now explode. I need to be on the boss, not on these. I'm gonna get blown off the edge. Okay, I got that cone to focus correctly. You can fall off the edge, and that is a problem. Be mindful of it. Don't let the ads explode, because they will throw you off. In this particular phase, you cannot move the boss. If you try to move away, it'll simply start laser beaming something and not move an inch. He's a real jerk. So for the tank, it's the same as previous phases, more or less. With the exception that you should ignore the ads. There's one on me. If they get into melee, like that, they explode, and if you happen to get a chain, they throw you a million miles, and yeah. Now, when I said earlier that you couldn't reposition the boss, apparently it just made me a liar. But I've literally never been able to do this before, so I have no idea. This guy is really misbehaving for us today. I'm trying desperately to avoid that ad, getting pulled into the filth. And here's a big badass explosion that you should avoid. When I say that he doesn't usually move around this much, you'll see exactly what I mean. This is very strange. Very strange. That boss, I feel, still needs a little bit of tuning. But despite the glitching, we managed to get through this. We're done. And I'm going to take an extensive break from this instance because it upsets me now.
Got me some good SP.
Join us for the next one, which will be...
Well, Ankh in Egypt.
I assume?
If you enjoyed watching this
fantastic.
one, if you enjoyed watching me cut all the fails, then, yeah, hit some buttons. Peace out.